Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to this brand new episode of your show, The Untold. My name is Daij Al-Hotari with my colleague Hiba Al-Qahtani. How are we doing today?
Well, we're doing great, and hopefully everyone is really eager to know more about today's episode, especially talking more about our interesting guest.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we have to mention that there's this thing about our guests. So basically, it's related to our dear guests. So basically, we all know that Kuwait and Britain, they're like two far countries. However, yet they are closely linked.
Right.
We are going to be exploring the different culture, the vibrant atmosphere, and everything related to Kuwait-Britain relationship. So
Yes,
it's going to be
indeed.
interesting.
So this do reflects the Anglo-Kuwaiti relationship, and we're really happy to have that. And lots of great students are there. Having that kind of exchange is very beautiful and important. I mean, who wouldn't go to England or London to spend
If
times
they got the
there?
chance, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. It's the best destination, I would
Yes.
say. We're going to be using this word a lot today. So basically, yes, we can't wait to meet Dr. Bender AlRaqqas. So please stay with us, dear viewers, and we'll be back. Welcome back to the studio, dear viewers, and of course, welcome to the studio, Mr. Dr. Bender AlRaqqas here with us today. We're interested and happy to have you here with us, and of course, we want to dig and talk more about your, educational background and all your experience in the field.
Starting with education, my bachelor degree or first degree was atmospherics science and computer science, and after a while, then I continued my master's degree. My bachelor degree was from North Carolina State University. And then I got my master in computer science from Miami, University of Miami. After a while, I got my PhD in strategic information systems from Swansea University, UK.
That's
Yes.
pretty long road, but hopefully
Yes.
it was fun.
Yes, especially dealing with C++ and Java is something very difficult, talking about the field itself. So we would like to know more about your career progression. Maybe you'd like to tell us more about it.
Starting from graduation, since I graduated, I first joined Kuwait Airport as a meteorologist and weather forecaster. I used to come here, Kuwait TV,
Wow.
to present weather
Nice.
Yeah.
a few years back, 45 years ago.
Hi, mashallah, mashallah. Yes.
After that, with the establishment of civil authority, public authority for civil information, I joined in civil information as a programmer, computer analyst, and then computer system development manager. And after that, I moved to academia until I retired a few years back.
Yes.
Quite an experience.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So I'm quite sure that it felt different. It felt special and cool being the head of the Kuwaiti Cultural Office in the UK. So how did it feel back then when you became the head of the office?
It was a different job. It's you can apply your business experience, managerial experience, and social experience in that job. It was very challenging job.
Yes.
And how did it feel being the head office?
Head of the office, I feel responsible for
Yeah.
many, 100,000 Kuwaiti students there.
Yeah.
And, being there, not just an educator, also a diplomat. You're representing Kuwait.
Kuwait, yes.
You have many different hats. Father's hat, educator hat, and diplomat's hat.
Lots of
Yes.
responsibilities there.
So, talking more about responsibilities, maybe you'd like to tell us more about these, let's say, main responsibilities that faced you during this position that you had in your career.
That particular, talking about the head of cultural office in London, the responsibility you have different responsibilities. The first
Yes.
responsibility was the welfare of students. So students have to have, all the financial allowances to facilitate that, to make sure that every student has his tuition paid,
Yes.
allowances received on time, other allowances, annual allowances, travel allowances, stuff
Yes.
like that. The other responsibility is to maintain the quality education. So we have another eye on the education institutions themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we monitor them and evaluate them so that we include the a better quality institutions in our list.
Yes.
And if an institution has lower standard, we delete it from our state.
Yes.
So regarding the challenges that you faced once you took this position,
Yeah.
can we talk about them?
The challenge is usual. All major cultural offices have that because the most critical time in joining cultural office is the beginning or the start of the academic year. So and that's
It's the rush hour, I guess, right?
it's very critical time because you have many students coming in from Kuwait just finishing high school, and going there to join. You have to allocate each and every student in different university, and you should have that ability to manage all this.
A huge amount of students that coming all
and
the way.
also at the same time you are new. You don't know even I don't know the name of my secretary or
Yes.
the number of staff. That's very critical. But we manage with the allocated resources. In the ideal way, you should have like a proper briefing before any diplomats go outside or any cultural office or attaché go there. And also they should have like a proper handover period so that you get to know the critical issues and difficult issues so that you can solve them.
Yes, indeed, because it's really difficult when it comes into, let's say, transferring all of the work that's happening to a person that's been hired recently, as you just said in that matter, because we do have students that are still, let's say, in their fourth maybe year, third year, they're not new, and then you being in that position trying to let's say seize what's ever happening and trying to of course find all of the solutions that's been presented. So when it comes into your background, especially when it comes into your career, and then having it as a support for you to apply for this position, maybe you'd like to tell us about that, like how the background did actually manage to help you during your position.
Okay. To head a cultural office, first of all, you need to be a manager. You should manage all the staff you have. You manage all procedures, all the processes, all the financial resources and allocations. So you have to be, first of all, to be able to manage all of this. That's one thing. The other thing, you have to be a good communicator. You have to communicate with students, communicate with their parents, communicate with the universities, and also communicate with the public and media. Also, you have to be have another hat as a diplomat. You have to maintain Kuwait's image and within the academic world,
Yes.
the country you're serving.
So basically now we talked about challenges, about difficulties and all these kind of things, but I guess there has to be some joyful moments or satisfaction brought to you, with your role. So basically, let's talk about the joy parts, the satisfaction of your position.
Most satisfactions I get is when I see a student coming to me and I just want to say, thank you, I finished my study. I didn't have to call, telephone, I didn't have to come in person to finish everything, all the facilitation. Everything is given to me by email or by letters, so student didn't have to come in person or to come to talk to me or call me.
Everything was set for them through emails and the briefing.
We make sure that all students' needs are met without them having to call or having to come in person to finish it.
Yes.
Once they email the office, everything should go there. And also, the other satisfaction is when I go sometimes to some events, I see some students, and when I talk to them, and they realize, how do you know? I said, I am the head of the office. And they don't know me, even though they're not students, because that's most satisfying to me is that because students there under my responsibility, they don't have to know my name, or don't have to my face or image, because all their needs are met. So that's satisfying for me.
Yes.
That's very nice.
And it's very comforting, let's say, even for the students. You make them feel comfortable when it comes into the most important thing. Being away from their parents and then being alone in a country is difficult. But to have that kind of support and backbone there is something very beautiful and joyful at the same time. So maybe you'd like to tell us about, let's say, the overcomes that you faced, especially when it comes into between the education of, let's say, Kuwait and UK, the ties that happens during the years that you've been through when it comes into that matter, because I'm very sure you had to see so many things when it comes into that kind of sense of matter.
Difficulties?
Yes.
We have some difficulties in in Britain. There used to be all the universities, and in the 90s they used to call them polytechnics. They turned to new universities.
Yes.
And they're not the traditional British university. And some of those universities, scrutinize the procedures or quality procedures and admission. That's why it allows for students to come in to slip in the system, and also their level of the quality of their curriculum program is not as the usual British education. I had problems with that, with them and with students who joined them.
Yes.
Then when I highlighted that thing and I highlighted that issue, that was a big problem at that time. But then we solved it so that we set the rules for universities, for the list of qualified universities, and it's working still now.
That's really great.
All right. So when it comes in terms of Kuwaiti and British relationship in education and culture, I really would like to get to know more about the students in the UK and what kind of majors they decide to pick, or in what area exactly. So basically, what's the most popular field, I would say, to rephrase it, and the Kuwaiti students in the UK, and of course why you think, in your perspective, that they pick these specific areas in the UK to study this specific field.
Starting with the specialties or major, there are about three major categories, let's say. The first thing is the medical field, medical studies like medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, and allied health. This kind of fields are very popular there, and because they are very, recognized and well-established institutions there. The second one is engineering, because England, British universities are very well-known for their science and engineering.
Engineering department.
Okay. The third thing is education and the languages. Because English language is
literature
studied in England or in British.
So medical, engineers, and literature or language.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm very sure that this is something still ongoing when it comes into that, because these are the dominant, let's say, specialties and areas where people, and especially students, and talking more about parents, do want their children to actually go and get educated in that matter of sense. So you've been there working in your position for years in the UK. Coming back to Kuwait, I mean, it has to be a very, let's say, beautiful challenge. Maybe you take more of a sense of the British citizens there drinking tea is more of an often than, let's say, having Arabic coffee in the let's say the day time. So tell us about your own experience, and shifting from Kuwait to UK must be also kind of, let's say, sense of a challenge in that matter.
I brought my culture there. When I was there, I was the only office in Kuwait embassy that has Arabic coffee every day. So anybody.
This is the signature that you have to have.
You have to get some Arabic coffee.
Also, one day the ambassador, Khalid Wesan, told me that there is a company that teaches diplomats, that teaches diplomats the courtesy and etiquette. And he said, I told them, go to Dr. Bender. And when they came to me, I presented them with coffee, Arabic coffee, and started the talking about etiquette. And I told them, I shook hand by your right hand, yes, not the left hand. He said, yes. I said, this is our etiquette because right is preferred than left. And I gave you coffee with right hand. They said, yes. I told them also we introduced etiquette to Europe. When we were in Spain, we introduced the courses and meals, appetizer, main meal, dessert, and also we introduced the etiquette of the dress code for servants, uniform, and also dress code for the princes, and this they said, Doctor, we've been 15 years teaching diplomats. This is the first time we come and diplomat teaches us about the protocol.
So this is really amazing, to be honest, to be said, and such of a great joyful memory when it comes into that matter.
Definitely. All right, so for now, let's take this really quick break before we continue this beautiful interview.
And we're back, dear viewers, to continue our episode with Dr. Bender, talking more about the support that the Kuwait Cultural Office do actually give and present for the students who are in the UK. Maybe you'd like to tell us more about that and elaborate on it.
About
the support that the Kuwait Cultural Office presents.
Okay. The support we give students, first of all, we financially support them, so that we give them the allowances for their expenses, living expenses, tuition fees for the universities. Also some kind of, support them, for example, we have a talented students who are very good in photography. I supported him in, I allocated place for when we had event to present his photographs, because, and now he's a professor now teaching.
Wow, amazing. Yes.
Also, one of the students, female student, her son was, very good in drawing. They call him Little Picasso. And he had, showcasing. He has an event showcasing his drawings. So I traveled to the village where he had the exhibition there, just to support him.
Yes.
Support a son of a student, a postgraduate student.
Yes. I do remember
the little village name is very Llangollen in Wales. Yeah.
Yes.
It's difficult to pronounce.
Yeah.
But he managed to do it.
Yep. All right, so how do you see the future of Kuwaiti British education and also culture and the relationship evolving in the upcoming years ahead?
The British Kuwait relations been I'm talking about the educational side in particular. It started maybe in the 50s. 1958 the Kuwait established the cultural office as part of the Kuwait embassy there with few students. Now we have 10,000 students in Kuwait. In the UK 10,000, that's all. 10,000 Kuwait in total. So that's very huge number. And I think that number is going to be growing also.
Increasing by over time, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and that's something very great to hear about, because it shows how important is education and how we are really well and aware when it comes into, of course, better education and learning, and to have these amount of students do actually reflect that more of awareness. So when we want to talk more about the We Care Forum, maybe you'd like to tell us about the main reason of behind having this event.
We Care Forum. Kuwait has many cultural offices all over the world. But its name is cultural office, but its main job is only students coming in, students going back. Nothing for culture. When I headed the office, I found an opportunity that back in 2008 would mark the 50th anniversary of establishing Kuwait Cultural Office. And I managed to organize that forum, but I wanted something to celebrate on. I mean, what kind of culture I mean, Kuwait is a very small country, the population is very small compared to other nations, so it's difficult to pick something to elaborate on the culture. And I found that Kuwait, even though it's a small country, but it has very valuable asset, which is the humanitarian work. So I made that. I wanted to elaborate on the humanitarian work, charity work, all organizations in Kuwait, civil society organizations in Kuwait that are doing charitable work and work for the human side, for the environment side, for the society side. I called them and I invited them to join us in the forum, and we organized that We Care. I named it We Care forum, and also I invited the British counterparts for those societies, and that was the main idea why we introduced that, because we are a cultural office and we are proud of the culture of Kuwait. Kuwait is giving culture, helping others in terms of individuals also and organization. I was astonished to have this amount of organizations in Kuwait. I didn't expect that amount of organizations. We have about 17 organizations coming in,
mashallah,
and very talented people. Very talented people came in and they enriched the forum.
Yes, and this is something very important, is because it is a way of exposing culture and having that kind of exchange of knowledge. And this is where everyone gets educated and starts to know more about the country. Like people in the UK do, let's say, recognize the students from Kuwait, but having such event could elaborate for even people to know more about and to have that kind of sense of relationship.
Yeah, and I really liked what you mentioned, that yes, Kuwait is a tiny country in size. However, it's big in the humanitarian works, and this is why we are proud of this. And now, since we talked about the forum that you had previously in the UK, so let's talk about the key participants. Who were the key participants, and what kind of topics were discussed there?
I called all the civil society organizations that are working in the humanitarian side. But as a diplomat, I avoided, the politically active societies in Kuwait, so that even though their work is in charity is very excellent and organized, but I try to avoid politics as a diplomat.
Right.
So I only invited societies that are not, labeled certain,
Yes.
party. The main side is the environment side, human side, charity side. We also even Kuwait TV band. For television, we call
have
it.
a band.
Yeah, we invited them. They made the event there. And
Wow,
the
that's
forum.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
It was excellent.
Yes, and I'm very sure there are a lot of people who are behind this great work and great forum. We say that they are the ones that are behind the scene, let's say, to have this forum being successful and set. Maybe you'd like to tell us more about them.
Organizing such an event in London. London is very expensive
Right.
town, and very, central London, and a central hotel there in London. It was a huge work, a huge task. So many people helped me in this. Our staff, cultural office staff, also some PhD students there. I know so many PhD students who are,
Yes.
hardworking, and I called them in and assigned a task for them. Also, all the thanks for Her Excellency Nouria Sabih, the Minister of Education at that time. She helped a lot to move things around.
One of the
Yes.
supporters.
To
of
help
To
me.
ease in things around.
Not
let's
not
say.
financially. Financially, we did it on our own, just self fundraising.
Yes.
But political support to get things through.
Yes.
So now for the upcoming students, congratulations for those who just graduated. Do you have any advices for them? Those who would like to travel abroad and study, is there like specific advice from you to them?
For students who want to study abroad, I have about two pieces of advice. The first one is to, in addition to your field of study and the language study and field of study, they should develop their hobbies. I mean, if you have a hobby, even if to study different third language or fourth language, because they're advanced economies, you can develop your hobbies. If you have a hobby in any type of hobby or sport or skill, you can develop it because universities there, they have the facilities to develop hobbies. Some of them, like I know somebody who loves swimming. He he got a certification as a lifeguard.
Nice.
Yeah, as somebody who's in self-defense.
So they have to fill the gap. They have to fill the free space that they have, other than studying and that. So they have a lot of time to fill their.
The other thing is always for students going there, always to remember to be an ambassador. For example, now the new ambassador in the UK is Badr Mnaykh. He is a very excellent choice to the post. They just appointed now, and instead of only one ambassador, we need about those 10,000 students to have 10,000 Kuwaiti ambassadors. My other advice for students to be an ambassador to your country, ambassador to your family, so that anybody who sees you, that you represent your family, the family who raised you, and represent your religion. So that's my advice to them. Develop your hobbies. Also, always remember to be an ambassador, because if you do any bad things, or they will say, oh, that's a Kuwaiti guy, or that's a Muslim guy, or that's his family's reputation.
What they, let's say, raise them
in
up
our
for.
generation, that's select all.
Yes, select all. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is something very important to keep in mind, is also one of the things, never lose hope. If you want to continue your education in the UK, whether it's after high school or even when it comes into higher education, UK is one of the great destinations that you could actually go, learn, get that kind of great experience, gain beautiful knowledge from the country, and also from even students and professors. Like my professors, they studied there. They've always advised us to go, and especially for the UK, for the higher education, because it is one of the great destinations for you to, let's say, get educated and learn more.
You repeated the word destination 3 times in last.
Because I do feel like I want to go to a destination.
That's what I'm stressing, because when you say destination, because if you want to study in an English-speaking place, destination, okay, you have either UK, North America, or Australia. North America and Australia are very far away, and this is very closer to them. So this is very close destination.
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
that's why I make it preferred for many Kuwaiti students to go there, and also because many Kuwaiti tourists go there, so it's a familiar place.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like familiar with the places and the culture there, so it's easier. And also for the families who would like to visit their
Shorter destination.
students.
Shorter destination. I think 5 to 6 hours.
Shorter destination for the families to visit their students and their kids who are students over there, and also for the students when they come back to Kuwait in their breaks. So basically, yes, it's a better option, I would say.
Yes.
All right.
Better destination.
All right, I guess we have reached the end of this interview, so we have to take this quick break before we wrap the episode. Thank you so much, Dr. Bender, for being part of this.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you.
that said, dear viewers, we have reached the end of this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. And hopefully everyone did enjoy our time with Dr. Bender Raqqas, especially talking about his position of being a head of the Kuwait office in the UK, cultural office in the UK. And talking about that kind of sense of responsibility is something very beautiful and very encouraging at the same time, and confident that he did actually present for the students back in the days. Exploring culture and presenting it at the same time is something very remarkable.
Yep, definitely. All right, so that was the end. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, dear viewers, and we hope to see you again in another episode of The Untold. Goodbye.